What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Man Room. I'm your host, Marcus Bridges. Thank you for joining me today. What a fun show we've got planned for you. Don't forget to check us out every place you get podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Apple, Google, the works. Donate to the show at themanroompodcast.com. And the rest of it has been said a million times before, so there's no reason not to get right to our guest. Joining us today in the Man Room, actor, comedian, producer. What else do you do? You're a multi-talented dude. Chris Green, thank you so much for joining me today, man. What's good, man?
What's up, brother? Long time no see, man.
Dude, it has been a really long time. Fortunate enough to work with you back in the day on the Donkey Show a little bit. I think we did a fat camp together, the old fat camp stand-up showcase.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, at
Yes,
Wetlands.
sir.
And I've seen you out at the open mics here in Eugene. We've got this killer comedy scene all of a sudden in Eugene, and just super happy to have you. Thanks for taking the time, dude.
Oh, thank you, brother. I appreciate it. I'm glad to get the call.
Yeah, man. So what have you been up to? I know you got stand-up on the resume, obviously, but I've been hearing you talk about different movies, some TV shows, some sketch stuff. Like, you're a busy dude. You're creating.
Well, I mean, what I'm trying to do is just try to get it in good. Now, I just want to let you know when I might talk a little fast, a little slur, but I'm from the South. That's the things we do. That's how it goes down. So I'm going to slow it down just a tad bit. You know what I'm saying? Just a tad bit. But, yeah, I mean, we've been doing I've been doing comedy, here and there, where now I'm trying to go in and take it seriously. Acting, come around. Like I said, I was on, I didn't say, but on another show. Let me refocus. I was doing The Librarians that was on TNT. I had a couple of roles in there, like feature extras. And then Translation is a movie. I got another movie coming out, 90 and Knife's Christmas Story by Travis Ivy, Pico, Echoes by Travis Ivy. Another film from Jason Hawkins is on Netflix. Haven't done it yet, but it's coming out is Tuesday Never Comes, 200 Proof by Mitch. Shut up. Don't worry about that part.
Hey, don't worry. We can if you say something you're not supposed to, we can edit it out. Seth Milstein did that on this podcast, and we took about 5 minutes of content out. It doesn't matter.
Okay. Man, I'm good because I forgot his name, but it's Mitch Hedgeberg. Not Mitch Hedgeberg. That's one of my favorite. Mitch something. But and then a few other ones that I can't remember or whatever.
Yeah.
But when it comes to stuff, but yeah, I've just been out here just shaking the bacon, trying to do the damn thing, brother.
Dude, that's awesome. Now, how do you get hooked up with your acting gigs? Because here in Eugene, it's like there's not like a big film school or anything crazy like that. Like, do you already have these connections? You just know people that are doing cool shit, or do you actually go out and seek out like casting calls and stuff like that?
Well, a little bit of both. From knowing cool people, how I got introduced to you guys, from Miss Jen Davis and all that stuff. Met y'all, but then you go on Craigslist and you casting calls that might have in Portland and different things. It's a little whatever, you know what I'm saying? Craigslist is a thing, you know what I'm saying? I met one guy and he wanted me to pose as a Credible Hulk while he had a Wolverine glove and pose with him sticking his claws in my booty hole.
In your butt?
But yeah. The Credible bulk. But I mean,
and so if they pay you enough, you're down, is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, I mean, he still owe me $40, but we cool.
$40 and some ointment.
Yeah. You see how I walk in here? I walked out. It's not because I think I'm better than you. Not at all.
It's that damn photo shoot. Before I forget, part of the show that we always like to feature today, you said something pale, something dark. I picked us up Paddleback, which is an oceanic pale ale. What do you think, man? How's it hanging?
Oh, I love it. It's smooth. It's running down.
Can't go wrong with Pelican Brewery, man. Over there on the Oregon coast, they're doing it right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And I can't be. Look at me. I don't need another 40. I mean,
dude. We had a 40 in college that I've never heard really a lot of people talk about, and I don't know if it's because it's a regional thing. I went to U of O, but we drank Big Bear. You ever hear Big Bear?
Big Bear.
I mean, $2.29 a 40 and just a hangover to beat all hangovers.
Horrible. Man. Look, I love beer. And it's not a 40 that I won't take down. But Big Bear, yeah, because I think I was getting a 40 of those for 99 cents.
Damn.
And I was like, when you're drunk, I was like, you just knew it was a horrible decision and stuff. And then you wake up, and my experience is probably 50% of the time with ice on my back with a carrot in my ass. So.
You never know what's going to happen on Big Bear, man, especially on a college campus. That's where I was. So I'm not even going to tell you some of the ways that I woke up. One time, I woke up underneath of a couch because somebody had flipped it over on top of me when I was sleeping on it, and I didn't wake up. I just, just swore, you know?
See, now, at least you got an excuse because you're in college. Usually it was just me and my grandma and mom. So...
You don't play some bridge with your grandma instead of drinking 40s with her? Come on.
She's a champ. I mean, now we're trying to create a little thing. We're in an a cappella group called On Your Knees, and it's a Christian rap group. And yeah, I'll get you the mixtape for that. It's coming out.
I would love it, man. Let's launch it. Let's do a special episode of the podcast where we launch the mixtape from On Your Knees. Is it?
Oh yeah.
So I have trouble. Are you being serious right now? Or
Oh no! First of all, we making you bow down. We making you bow down.
Shit.
Put your head right in front of it and take it for the Lord. And that's all it's about.
I like that. I like
Praise
that aggressive religion.
Yeah.
That's the way most people should take it. You know,
Christian gangster rap.
Well, and look, if you're Catholic, if you brought up Catholic, you know all about aggressive religion. So you know, I was an altar boy. Yeah, that's what everybody says. You know, but no, it didn't. I did. He was cool. The pastor.
Man, he came and get it out, y'all. Cut this part.
No, he's a cool guy. He used to take me trap shooting. You know,
so.
where you shoot skeet. You know, he was shooting some skeet.
You should take your trips, ski, and all the time. Come on. What?
You know, it sounded just fine in my head until I said it, and then the look on your face kind of sold it.
You realize a little something about yourself today. So sorry it had to happen on this platform. But
God damn! Now I know why I do stand-up comedy.
Released.
I'm fucking fractured, man. I'm broken
like a muff.
Oh, shit. Well, you know, that's one of the things that I was excited to talk to you about because I was stalking your Facebook page and I saw back in June you made a comment about the amount of talent in the Eugene comedy scene right now. And as somebody that has been doing it for, you know, off and on for a while like yourself, what do you think, like stepping back and just looking at the pure and simple amount of talent that Eugene has to offer right now?
Oh, man, it's like, it always been there. That's the craziest thing about it. It's been there, but it was just never that platform. And that's from musicians to actors and actresses and comedians. Like, it's been there. It's just, it always been, at first, it's always been that me type, whatever. And I think Self and them and Mike and a whole bunch of the comedians, they sat there and stuck with it. Now we're a little doohickey like me can come back in and be like, oh, yeah, I'm a part of the crew. What we been up to?
That's exactly what I'm doing.
And they look at me like, man. But they always welcome me with open arms and like, come back. We need you to come back, this and that. So, yeah, I mean, they kept it going. And now it's something crazy. And I mean, it's actually beautiful to watch, to see everybody got their own open mics and shows, different things going. So, yeah.
Yeah, man, it's so much fun. And I hate the fact that people are, you know, everybody was catching momentum and then now we're starting to cancel shows again, which is just, you know, it sucks. But I know you're going to be at the Ghostlight Playhouse on Monday, September 6th, which this podcast will air, I believe. It'll air, well, this will air Monday. So, yeah, a week from when this podcast is out, you're going to be down there at the Ghostlight Playhouse. Our boy Nick Lanier, who's been on this show, he's down there. He's manning the kitchen now. They got booze and, you know, beer and wine at the show. Have you done that show down there yet?
I have no idea. I just go where they say go. You know what I'm saying? And then there's the friends. I don't think I ever said no, really. You know what I'm saying? I just try to go and like promote us and do whatever. So, but you said the show, you knew before I did. I was, I'm just going.
You can pretty much guarantee if you're doing comedy on a Monday night in Medford, it's going to be at the Ghostlight because that's when they do their feature nights. But it's a cool venue, man. And they are really turning it into something that I think is going to be a stop. Like it's enough of a comedy club when these comedians are coming up through Northern California, headed to Portland and Seattle. They're going to stop in Medford now, and I got to hope that they're going to stop here in Eugene, too. We get enough shows moving because there's so much talent up and down the West Coast, and everybody seems to be moving. I mean, you know, people are going down to Northern California from here and doing a lot of shows, which is awesome to see.
And they're starting to make stops down here in Eugene. You know what I'm saying? Not even just like the big venues, they're starting to come through and whatever. So I think they're getting recognition, or some of my pioneers like Steph and them are going to different places, and Alice going to different places and letting them know, and you know what I'm saying, bringing that interest to Eugene and whatever. But I want to say to all my comedians, Self, Mike's, all y'all, you know what I'm saying, Tyler's, sometimes my car don't work. Sometimes I'm homeless. Sometimes I'm hungry. Sometimes I know, but I will go to any events or whatever. If I could get there, I'm there. So if you need to get, somebody might need to give me a bite.
Yeah.
But sometimes my legs hurts. So I would say the best thing, if y'all want me there, hit me up, say you coming to get me. If I can't get there, and I'm there, because I support the movement. I love it. And I like how I'm seeing things come out. I'm not talking to the mic.
No, you're good, man. I've been watching your level. But, no, it's a good point. It sounds like maybe that we should commission like a comedy rickshaw to run out and grab somebody if they need a ride, but they don't want to ride a bike or something like that, because you can't trust Uber. I just took an Uber to the airport just last week, and I'm riding, and the dude's got the windows down. Everything's fine. This guy starts telling us about how he got kicked out of a strip club for tipping a stripper in quarters, and in the middle of his fucking story, he rolled my goddamn hand up in the window. Like, almost broke my hand right before I was going on vacation, only to golf. I was going to play 2 fucking days of golf, and this Uber driver just rolls my hand up in the window. And I'm like, bro, you got my hand. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. And then keeps rolling it up and, like, pinches it. So I can't do Uber anymore. I'm out on Uber, man. I'm waiting.
What did you rank him?
What's that?
What did you rank him?
I ran up a 4-star because I didn't want to be all pissy, because he was
so
really
apologetic.
He was apologetic. I mean, he didn't do it on purpose, but still, I've never had my hand rolled up in a taxi, and I've been in a shitload of taxis.
Come on, you know, hey, but you know when you get caught up in a stripper story, you know what I'm saying? We all kind of losing when we telling a stripper story. We're not focused. So I mean, 4 stars, you're a good man. You're a good man.
I mean, we were only a couple blocks away when he got to that stripper story, so it was like, I remember sitting there because I got really high before I left because we're going to the airport. So I got to be like, I was on the moon, just roasted. And I'm thinking to myself, like, you know, when you have those, you get really high, or you're drunk a little bit, and you have like that thing where it's kind of like you're looking down on your situation and you're seeing it. And I'm like, is this guy talking about getting kicked out of a strip club for court? We're 3 blocks from my house. And then all of a sudden there was this searing pain in my hand. And it like sucked me back into my body. And my hand was all geeked up in the window, dude.
Wait a minute. What? Katie, what? I'm sorry.
Because, and as much as I hate to admit it, I've been kicked out of a strip club for tipping with quarters. But the reason I got kicked out, all right, it was it was the 18 and over, the juice bar. You know, and there was this place in Springfield where they used to let you, if you were over 21, they didn't care if you came and went 60 times. So we used to bring a big cooler of beer and put it out in the car, and then we would go to the 18 and over strip club so our younger buddies could come in, and we would just go out to the car and just drink beer all night and just come back in there hammered. And it was 2 song sets, and I was a little bit tuned up, and this gal stripped, I put that in quotations because she never took off an article of clothing. And so I'm like, look, I tip in proportion to the entertainment. If I'm entertained, you're going to see a lot of money come from me, but I'm at a strip club and you're not stripping. And so, you know, I'm kind of a jackass from time to time. And she came over and she kicked the table in front of us, you know, and she's like, where's your money? And I was like, where's your titties?
And that's honestly a great question.
And she kicked it again with those big high platform heels, and it sounds like a gunshot going off when they kick it right in front of you. And she kicked it again and kind of gave me the, like, where's it at? And I just reached into my pocket instinctively, like, this wasn't even me thinking. I just knew I had 2 quarters in there, and I slapped them on the table. And she kicked it again, and we got drug out, and we still sat in their parking lot and drank beer for another hour or so. You know?
For parking, 50 cents for parking.
But I don't know. That's why, look, I've had some sour issues with Uber drivers. Like, that's the other thing. When I was in Vegas earlier this summer, we're standing outside of the hotel. You know, it's 150 degrees in the desert. Everybody's got a beer in their hand because if you don't, you'll die outside. And this Uber driver just pulls up to us. He's like, no drinks in the car. You're canceled. And just squeals out and takes off. And I'm like, man, you can't do that in a taxi in Vegas. Like, if you're a taxi driver in Vegas, you need every single fare that comes through. And they let you drink. They don't care if you walk in there with a handle.
I thought that was a city for it. But they told me I'd never been to Vegas.
Oh, really?
Ever. So they were like, yeah, you can walk around with a tie around your neck with a big 40. I'm like, what? what? I was like, I got to make sure that when I go, it's going to be the thing. But yeah, a taxi driver or Uber.
Uber says no. The taxis are cool with it, man.
Okay.
The taxis will let you do some shady shit. They're all running on propane, too, so it's not that expensive. They're making some good money.
Taxi confessions. Oh, yeah. I had something go down with a taxi with 2 midgets in a pit bull, but I'm not going to.
Oh, come on. You got to tell that story, man.
No, I don't want Peter to look at me.
Which they look at you for the pit bull or for the little people?
You will never know.
It's just a good thing nobody's listening to this shit. Otherwise, it would have been canceled a long time ago. Like, I'm right for it's called The Man Room, and it's 2021.
I didn't snitch on the grandma. I didn't snitch on this grandma. Me and my grandma, we get dirty with some stuff. But go ahead. Anyway.
You know, that's funny you say that. I think about my grandma. I didn't. She passed away when I was pretty young, but I knew my grandma was cut from a different cloth one time when it was just me and her, and we're playing cribbage at her house. And I was shuffling the cards. You learn to shuffle and do the bridge and everything at a very young age because my dad played a lot of poker. And so I'm just buzzing through shuffling the cards, and I just split them. I split the deck, and I put it back on top, and she grabbed my wrist, Chris. And she's like, that's my cut. And I was like, what are you talking about? I didn't cut. I just pulled cards out. And she's like, that's my cut. Reshuffle the deck. And I was like, Grandma, I'm 8. And we're playing cribbage. Like, how do you cheat?
Hey, it's about to get awfully physical in here. Was it a water boy? It's about to get awfully physical.
I started telling my dad that, and my dad had 4 brothers. There's a lot of boys in the house growing up. And he starts to tell me some things about my grandma and the 4 brothers. Like, no, listen, one time she threw a fork at the sink because she was mad at us, and it caught and sprung back and knocked her front teeth out. And she didn't even flinch. Like, they just watched their mom get her teeth just all busted out of her face from being mad at them. And she kind of turned around and took it like a champ. And that was when they knew as kids that they're like, well, we can't fuck with this woman anymore. She'll kill us.
Yeah.
You know?
That's kind of like my grandma. You know how grandmas, whatever. Get down from there. Well, my grandma used to have a pistol. No, like, get out. I'm going to pop you right now. Get out the tree. And I'm so dumb. Shoot me. Not knowing later on in life, that was a real situation. My grandma, I'm going to shoot you. Get out that tree.
She just couldn't draw a bead on you. You were moving too much.
Yeah,
right?
I was like, my grandma could drop me any time. That's a good grandma.
What caliber was Grandma's favorite?
It was one that looked like the Lone Ranger. The whole house always was full of guns. So we had shotguns, we had Glocks, we had the little 22s, the pea shooters or whatever. So hers was always the Lone Ranger one. I don't know what it was.
She looked like Dirty Harry out there with that thing.
with a moo-moo on. And I'm an idiot just in the tree. Yeah, you ain't gonna get me.
Oh, shit, man. God damn it. It's so good to catch up with you. I know why now we had so much fun back on the Donkey Show is we just got to, talk about shit like this and just have a good time and hang out. And that's totally what this whole podcast is about. Like, some people don't know what they're getting into when they come over to my house. This is it.
See, I love it because I'm an awkward person. I think for the stuff that we do, like comedians, period, I think we're real awkward people. So I can't really have a normal conversation. So when I come to stuff like this, it's refreshing because I'm all over the place. You want to talk about society and politics and this and that's not for me. I'm out of there. You know what I'm saying? And like just regular dinner date. Take me on a dinner date with you sometime and try to be normal.
That sounds like a plan, man. You are on. I'm taking you.
Man, it'll be the most. But don't talk about the stuff we talk about. Just talk about what you think regular people talk about, and then you start sweating. Gonna smoke 2 or 3 cigarettes. I don't.
Looking for the waiter to come back.
Yeah.
Bring me a couple shots, please.
God.
So you said now you're from the South. What part of the South? Because one of the things I like to talk about on this podcast a little bit is food. I talked to Nick, who was the chef down at Ghostlight, where you're performing on the 6th of September. And, we tailgate for the Oregon Ducks every single year. And I pride myself on making some dank-ass tailgate food. But I don't know that I'm as good as what I think I am the more that I talk to people. So.
Okay, well, Mr. Bridges, just go ahead and say it. You see me, you see my size, you see the blubber. Let's talk about food.
You want to know what it is more than anything? It's the South. It's the barbecue, man. I know that you came from good barbecue.
I'm from North Carolina, so you're right.
Yeah, see?
barely. Like, you skating on that. Now you got me over here sucking my. How much pounds does it add?
This webcam, it's not even 4K, man. It's things making you look skinnier. I'm telling you right now.
But yeah, I'm from North Carolina, Goldsboro, North Carolina. And yes, we take our barbecue. I mean, that's all it is. We take that very seriously. Ours is more of the vinegary. That's North Carolina.
The vinegary.
Vinegary food is delicious if it's done right. Now, I've been out here. I haven't seen, and I don't want to bash him out because I don't want somebody to bring out. I'll just shut up on that because you never know what endorsements or somebody you might bring out here. So I'll leave that alone. But it's different. You know what I'm saying? I can see people, and I don't knock people for trying to do whatever. And I'm not one of the people like, well, if it ain't from North Carolina and South, it's never going to be good. No, I'll give you my honest opinion and wait on it. You know what I'm saying? But it's just, it's not the same out here. So I definitely got to try your stuff. But is that like, what you call it, like breast, like what you call it, boiled chicken with parsnips?
What the fuck? Parsnip? Are you serious?
I never been to a white guy's barbecue. These are stories I heard. I heard y'all got broccoli.
You think I'm gonna serve fucking parsnips at the tailgate? My friends would gang beat me on the 50-yard line. I'll tell you.
See, these are things I see. I don't know if it's true. See, I don't.
But that's a problem of being over here, and that's why I'm always so intrigued to talk about it. Is because regionally, like, we don't really have a thing. Like, regionally, we'll cook everybody else's shit in Oregon and kind of make it our own little boutique thing. Is what I feel like it is. There's not. People always say this, like, what about salmon? Well, you know what? Salmon, okay, it's good when it's smoked. I got a salmon bone stuck in my throat when I was a kid, so it kind of turned me off to the whole thing. Okay, we got great shellfish on the coast, but my wife's allergic to all that shit.
Bones in his throat.
We're back to Catholic school again.
Yeah, go. I'm listening. Read between the salmon. No, go. I'm just bullshit. So
read between the communion wine. But I don't know. I'm always intrigued to talk about it, and I always, I wonder, like, do you cook yourself? Are you pride yourself as like a good cook?
I hope I didn't mess something up over here. Okay, yeah, I do cook. I like neck bones. I like See, that's what I'm saying. Like, look, I know I'm being judged. I really feel like I'm really being judged from over there. No. Sorry. I get it. I do get it.
That totally wasn't the point, but I can see how the way I presented it just makes you feel like, do I even want to be in this fucking room anymore?
I said that, Bo. See, I knew it, but shout out to you, Grandma. They don't know. But no, neck bones. They have chicklets. I'm never into chicklets, but you got oxtails. You got
oxtails good.
Yeah, oxtails. All the other, you know what I'm saying, meat, ribs. Whatever. I'm trying to think of something that people like. Oh, what you cook? Frog legs and all that type of stuff. Gumbo, whatever.
Oh, I love gumbo, dude. I went to New Orleans as like a late high schooler, and one of the best like cuisine related vacations I've ever been on. Every night in New Orleans was a different like total adventure of something I'd never had, and I want to have so much more of it.
How long was you down there for?
We're down there actually over Thanksgiving. My sister was going to school at University of New Orleans, and dude, when we were on Decatur Street on Thanksgiving night, it was packed shoulder to shoulder. Like, I've never seen a city party like New Orleans either. And I was 17, but I had an ID that said I was 18, so I could get into all the bars, and then they just snuck me a bunch of booze, so I got to party like everybody else.
Fake ID.
Right. But no, I mean, dude, gumbo, what was the other thing I had? Oh, red beans and rice. I mean, it sounds so simple.
Oh, no, that's my jam.
Oh, so good, dude. Yeah. So good. I got to have some of that at the tailgate this year. Damn.
Why are you talking about? See, that's what I'm saying. Look, I've been on an Atkins diet. I've been wanting the Subway. He's talking about ribs and food. This is not fair for a fat guy.
You're not. I see. I don't classify you as a fat guy. You look good. Come on.
All right. Yeah, I'll give you $20 when we get out of here.
Oh shit, man. That's okay. So I'm writing it down though. Red beans and rice. That is something I have to do. See, I didn't do any prep for this podcast aside from look at your Facebook page. Can you tell?
Oh, yeah, my Facebook page is just hilarious. Look, hey, if it's anything about, look, if you're in a relationship with me, woo, because look, I'm putting stuff in there, but I don't do the whole whatever, drop, whatever, this and that. I just say little shit here and there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the ones that love you should be around you all the time, boy. Oh, when was the last time I ever had grits and eggs and sausage? She get on there, you're an idiot. I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to Facebook. Yeah, I'm all over it. If you read my Facebook, you know I'm all over it.
I went down a little rabbit hole today, you know.
Oh, yeah.
But I also see that you're a family man. You know,
yeah.
you've got some beautiful children, man,
thank you.
And it seems to be that you're a very dedicated dad. You see pictures of, like, loving family interaction, which is a good thing, you know. I always, that type of shit warms my heart because we're not going to have kids. So for me, it's just the dogs. Like, I just post pictures of the dogs, and you feel kind of like an asshole saying, you know, well, they're kind of like my children. It's like, yeah, but Angie Bloomfield and I were talking about it. Like, they're way easier to keep alive. Like, I just pour some kibble in a bowl twice a day, and they pretty much do everything
You love
else.
what you love. But don't worry, I got kids. Hey, if you want some too, hey, Uncle Marcus, come on down. They got room for all kinds of uncles and aunts. Trust me. You want to take them, have them go somewhere, you can do it. Just let me know.
Just let you know. Just write it down on the schedule, right?
Yeah, just deem you. You know what I'm saying? All we got to do is bring the kids to your house one time. We'll leave you with them for a couple hours, come back, ask the kids, hey, did he offer you wine? No.
He didn't offer you weed? No?
He didn't offer you a little cup? See, that's another untasteful joke at the expense of nobody because I shouldn't be saying it. Catholic, I love you.
I mean, look, if you don't want those kind of jokes made about you, don't do decades of the shit that you did. That's kind of, or centuries. I mean, at this point, they've been doing it since the calendar turned over, right?
Yeah, I mean, by this time, you pretty much ask them.
Right. You got your own city with your own laws so that you can do that shit. That nobody else is doing. Well, maybe the Taliban now. Didn't think about that, but we're not talking politics.
No. Because I put on your spandex and your backpack with your pocket knife and your go-go boots. Going to Catholic school.
Don't forget your GIMP mask.
See you guys later.
This might be it, man. This might be the last Man Room podcast. Like, if we keep going,
No.
and I'm okay with it. I mean, look, it's had a good run as far as I'm concerned, and we really haven't said anything that's been offensive. We've just been speaking our truth.
That's my comedy. And that's why I want people to know. If you go to my show, my thing is all about saying stuff that other people say, but they just say it to each other. They don't say it, whatever. But my whole thing about it is, of course, we don't condone nothing that something bad happening to other people or ill will doing whatever. But it's some of the stuff that, you know what I'm saying, you got people that have done to them. Like, I was on my boy James Manning. Can I say something about James
please.
Manning, kicking it with James Manning? Check his show out, whatever, be on YouTube. But I was on there and I was just explaining to him, like, the stuff, like I said, I done had people die of cancer and mental illness or get killed. Like, it's so stuff, or, you know what I'm saying, or I got family members that are identify themselves as somebody else or whatever. Mm-hmm. So it's like, so when I'm telling jokes, it's not like I'm picking at you or anything, or I'm saying whatever. It's me taking stuff that we should all laugh at, you know what I'm saying, or we can have fun with it. Take the power away from it, from making it so serious and this and this and that, and just have a good time and laugh. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'll know when it's a time to be pissed off and get mad and somebody's directly picking on you, coming at you or whatever. But if we all go through the same thing, we human, we bleed or whatever, I think we can try to take some of that power away from it by laughing at it and, you know what I'm saying, whatever. That's my whole take on it.
No, I love that, because comedy is one of the last safe havens for saying this stuff without, you know, actually breathing power into it. Like you're saying, you do kind of take the power away from it. And for those of you that are listening to this that have maybe been at a comedy show and felt, I hate to use the word, but offended or something like that, the one thing that I think is really important that people understand is that, as at least I can speak for myself and a lot of other people, we're not up there to pick out the person that's going to be offended at this joke and ride them. That's not, in fact, that's the last thing that we would want to do, because that's just is. We're up there seeking approval from everybody in the audience. If you can just laugh at it and understand that it's a joke and it's not at your expense, you're going to have a lot more fun at a comedy show, because I just, like, that whole getting offended at a joke, I think it was Sam Morrill, comedian. He's got a podcast with Mark Norman. And I was watching him, and somebody was heckling him, and his response was, "I'm sorry for coming up here and trying so fucking hard to make you smile." And it's like, that's really all it is. I'm not coming up there to shoot bullets that hurt at people. I would rather shoot a bullet that tickles, and it's meant to try to tickle everybody. And like you said, if we can't laugh about it, what can we do? Can we even talk about it if we can't laugh about it?
That's the thing about it. We can't talk about nothing these days. Everybody's sensitive and whatever about certain things, and certain things, I mean, do deserve attention, but, you know what I'm saying, at the same time, we can all, if you can sit there and comfortably talk about stuff with your friends in your backyard drinking and whatever, then you should be able to say and do that with other people. If wrong or right, you should be able to have a conversation. You shouldn't have to go this way, or you're wrong, or I'm wrong, or you're right. You know what I'm saying? We should be able to talk about it. And we should be able to have differences in what we think. You know what I'm saying, within reasonable.
Right, within reason. I mean, nobody's talking, like, if you're up there just doing like a Mein Kampf hate speech, nobody's, we don't want to empower that bullshit either. But at that same time, if you feel like you're personally offended by a joke and you think that you need to say something as an audience member, understand that that's when the gear shift flips for a comedian, and now they are after you.
And you wanted my attention.
Yeah, I mean,
this is what you wanted, and this is the thing about it. I go hold on, some people like, you know what? I hated that joke. You know what? He's a horrible comedian, and what I'm gonna do, I'm just going to sit here and ruin everybody's time because he said something about wedding, and I got divorced yesterday, and I'm just going to run it for everybody. So boo wedding and boo this, and run it for everybody that can't pay their hard-earned money when y'all can say, I don't like that joke.
Yeah, and just shut up about it and just swallow it. Go get a drink. That's the best thing. If you get offended by a joke that is in the middle of a comedian's set, get up. Walk to the bar, get yourself another drink, think about how it didn't have shit to do with you, and then go back and sit down and see if you like the next one, right?
Oh, see, that's crazy. See, I just thought people were just screaming thirsty when I was on stage.
But that's why they're all just running back and forth to the bar. Like, sooner or later, we're going to like it.
I mean, that makes sense. I thought, I got them dying. They're dehydrated.
Yeah, man, I love the fact that you have that outlook about it, because I think that one of the cool parts about comedy is trying to be creative enough to say it in a way that is more inclusive. You try to get the whole audience rather than just a section of them. And, I'm not good at it, and that shit's hard. And there's very few people that are. And, with your comedy, you've always had a way of, like, you set people up and then you hit them with that Mike Tyson, like just that one just knockout punch. And I love that about it. It's been for years now. Like I said, we did a show called Fat Camp together. And by the way, it was spelled PHAT. So it was not offensive. Even back then we were worried about it. And that was like 2007 or some shit. Like, I don't even know how long ago that was, but I guess the one thing I'll try to relate to it is, like, the feeling of being heckled by somebody that got offended by a joke or by something that you said is, like, one of the worst fucking things ever. And that's why I try so hard to relate it to people, is, like, it's definitely not about you. And when you do that to somebody, like, you don't only ruin it for the audience members around you, but comedians commit suicide second most only to dentists. Like, how do you know I'm not going to wash my mouth out with a 12 gauge when I get home because you're booing me?
That's what you get. That's what you get. Should have let me get that joke out, you little wiener.
And I know.
Boner. That's what I call people things.
Boner. And I know that's blue. Okay, that's a very blue and dark and depraved way to look at it.
It's real.
I'm just telling you, it's real. So they wouldn't be standing up there if it's not real.
Don't you wish you put it in the joke form?
Right. You want me to sit here and talk about it like an adult? I can do that too.
Hey, and that's what I think about it too. I've been blessed that I've never been heckled before. I think some people are so stunned to see, like, in this area, just like, okay, black guy. And I think I got the edge over white people with that, you know what I'm saying, my fellow white brothers, because they go in there, you got to grab the audience attention when you're going, and then here I come, the black sheep of the group. But when I go up there, then you see them, and they be like, all right, what he's going to say, and they're tuned in. And when you get a crowd that's already tuned in, it's kind of easier to capture them. But I really had nobody ever heckle me. The most is people joining in with jokes and laughing, which I love that. As long as it doesn't throw it off for the rest of everybody else, right. We can continue. But I have no mind with people chiming in, saying little stuff here and there. But yeah, I've been blessed in that. I've been blessed in that form. You know what I'm saying? But
well, it also, I think that you don't take away from yourself, because that's also part of being a good comedian is not getting heckled. So I think you also have that going for you, that you're a good comedian, so nobody's going to talk shit to you, and that's not where I am. I go up there every night and I just tremble for 5 minutes before they give me the fucking mic, and I wonder who's going to come after me. And I don't know if that comes from me not being comfortable with my own material yet, or if that comes from me, having a bad experience and getting heckled a couple of times and thinking that that's a comedy crowd and I have to deal with it. I really don't think that's the case. I think
you're a comedian.
Yeah.
I'm nervous every time I go on stage. Every time, and it's because how if I forget material? How if I say something that offends somebody or whatever, or I say something about somebody in a wheelchair and somebody in the first row, but I don't see them in a wheelchair. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things where it's like, I feel like if you're not nervous, then you're not really. You always want to be able to focus on the crowd and whatever. So I think you being nervous, like, it's a stint to it, but feeling nervous or whatever is just regular. And you know what I'm saying? And worrying about somebody helping, because I do not want nobody helping. I don't want to preserve my energy on you to come up with another set of jokes to go after you. But the biggest part is that I don't want to be rude to you. That's the last thing that I want to do, because 90% of my jokes, if anything, is on me. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling jokes about myself so people can laugh at me, not other people. But I don't want to be the one that sit there and make fun of you. Yeah, you're so stupid that you thought hamburger helper came with somebody. Or your mama's so fat she can rollerblade with school buses. Or these are old living colors.
It's old, man. But you know what? I've told this story before on this podcast, but that's how I got invited into the Donkey Show. I didn't know those guys, Tanner and Drew. They had a Yo Mama contest. And I called up and with like 8 other people, and we went roast battle style with your mama jokes, and I won that.
What?
And they invited me into the studio, and I just kind of never left. And so whenever I hear a good Yo Mama joke, like, I will absolutely value that, because it gave me an 8-year career in radio. That's the whole reason I got into that studio. I showed up with a case of beer and was like, I'm here until you pay me. And I went there for like months and months and never got paid a cent, and just was volunteering my time because I loved it. And then finally they gave me like 1 gig, and that turned into 3, and that turned into
That's tight. See, I love that. Because you would never notice. I thought y'all knew each other from college or like childhood friends, how everybody was vibing. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, but I mean, I hear a good Yo Mama joke has a place in my heart, so I appreciate.
You might need to throw a Yo Mama tournament and have a circuit with the comedians, have it on Zoom or whatever, and have a Yo Mama, and we got to come up with original stuff and see who the best one.
That's not a bad idea, because it's. I mean, look, they're kind of timeless, because it's like everybody making, like, if. Get offended at a Yo Mama joke. Try it, and don't get laughed out of the fucking room. Getting offended at a Yo Mama joke.
From beginning of time.
Yeah, I do remember which one won it for me, though, and I had been saving it the whole time because I wrote a bunch of them, and then I also found some on the internet because I had to tell so many to get through so many people. I mean, I think I had to do 4 different battles, and each one was like a few minutes long, and you got, 5 or 6 different, and so it's like you had to have some preparation in there. And the one that I hit him with, the very last one, was your mama's so fat she tripped over Walmart, stumbled over Kmart, and fell right on Target. And dude, and the guys in the studio loved it, and they just shut the other guy down and hung up on him. It was like, yeah, fuck yeah. I told a Yo Mama joke, and it did something for me. So
forever Yo Mama joke. They have a shrine.
Yeah, I mean, because they never get old. Like, your mama's so old she got an autographed Bible. That's another one I know that people are out there right now shaking their heads because they've heard these before and they're old, but you're laughing. You're laughing at that shit because it's funny.
It's like, your mama's so old, she got Jesus' beeper number.
Yeah. Your mama's so dumb, she heard it was chilly outside, she went and got a bowl. That one. I mean, keep them coming. Like, if you've got more.
Your mama's so skinny, she can high glide a Dorito. These is old school classics. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think I ever heard that one. Oh, man. What was there? Was something with one about like a 747 and a toothpick. It's like your mom is so fat she uses 747 as a toothpick. I don't remember what it was, but I mean, look, I think you're onto something there. I think that we have to get with all these talented comedians. I know they could come up with some originals that are better than any of these old ones that have been told time and time again. So I'm writing that down too. Look at this. You're causing me to take notes during the podcast, which is rare.
That's what I'm saying. Hey, did you get it back going? Just like what was it? The Gong, a Fat Count?
Yeah. Well, we did the Gong show. The Donkey Gong comedy was like an open mic. That if you were really having a bad night, Drew would hit the gong and you just have to walk off stage.
I didn't really see too many people. Did they?
No, he didn't gong very many people. There's, Mike McGowan was funny because there'd be nights when he would go up there and try to get gonged. Like he would fuck with people in the audience. He would make fun of Drew. Like he would do everything he could, and then he would say eventually, like, "I'm just trying to get gonged. Like, can somebody hit the fucking cymbal because I'm dying up here." And there was all sorts. It's like that open mic night was probably one of the worst thought out. We were at Taylor's, which is the college grind time bar, on a Monday night. Yeah. And it's like Monday Night Football's happening on the TVs behind you, and
but Taylor's was a spot, though.
Oh, yeah, until they started drugging chicks' drinks there and everything and got closed down.
Drugging everybody.
Yeah, and what's the deal? I mean, look, you can have a good time without drugging people. Like, there was enough women at Taylor's to trust me. I fished in kind of the middle of the water. Like, I wasn't going after the Corvettes, and I wasn't going after the
but they all didn't care. A bucket or a Corvette will look at you the same. That's how Taylor's was a spot. I'm like, oh yeah. Yeah, I look like I play football.
God damn it. One time I went in there and I knew the guy at the door and we knew all the people and they would used to let us in, we didn't have to wait in line. They'd let us in the side door where all the athletes would come in, just mainly because of the radio show and because of a couple personal connections. But one time I came in and the bouncer's like, "Take your hood off." And it was pouring rain outside. I'm like, "Donnie, you know me." Like, he's like, "No, the cameras can't see your face. Take your hood off." And I'm like, "If it's me, just come get the little 5'8" dude and grab me by the collar and yank me out of here. You can do that. I've never done anything wrong in this bar. Take your fucking hood off. You're not going in." So I take my hood off, and in right behind me walks Jeremiah Masoli with his hood on, and they let him in with his hood on. And you know what, Chris? That was the night that he and his buddies stole the laptops and shit from that party and got in all that trouble and everything. And I was like, "Donnie, you piece of shit. Like, I was the guy that was in the right that night. You should have let me keep the hood on. You needed to see his face for that case because those people didn't get their shit back."
God, yeah. He would have went to the draft. He would. He probably would have third round, fourth. He would have made it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. And I was like, damn.
Kind of fucked it off there at the end.
It's crazy when you just bored, don't got nothing to do.
Right. And I mean, look, we know how boring. It's just the same thing that happened with those two Oregon players here a couple weeks ago, where they're doing drive-bys with like a pellet gun, and they get themselves suspended indefinitely. Like, look, you guys, we know how boring Eugene is, but this is one of the best classes we've ever had with the football team. Can you guys just keep a fucking lid on it until we can win a trophy?
And it's more than just being. I mean, I love Eugene. You know what I'm saying? I think it's just a cultural shock. I think it's a big gumbo of everybody.
That's a good way to put it. There's a lot of hippies in the gumbo.
Yeah, but it spices it up.
That's a lot of kale in the gumbo, if you know what I mean.
That's but we like kale.
And I guess we like kale.
We like kale. And I mean, it's different, but it's so much other stuff than what you're given to why you will want to rob somebody when you're in this position. I don't understand that as regardless of a child or not, you're a teenager, you're in this position, which you cannot say that Eugene's not a college town. You cannot say that they don't got the best facilities, that they're not treated like the pros are.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm like, so it ain't like you're going to whatever boom school that's whatever don't got no fun in and this and that, whatever. You messing with the top prestige. This is this great school. So I don't understand where kids will sit there and even throw a chance of follow your dream, or the things that people don't understand. Where I come from is become an alumni. If you become an alumni, do you understand that how many people that don't make it, but just being an alumni and being affiliated with successful people and people that are doing stuff that opens your door? Because a lot of it ain't about what you know, is who you know.
Oh, yeah.
They will get you through the door. So like kids don't understand that much part. Well, look, maybe you might never make it over there. You maybe have to go overseas or whatever. But if you get that degree, you are alumni. And somebody somewhere going to have something for you.
They're going to hook you up and with opportunities and that you may not get otherwise. And, there's only one Tom Brady. Yeah. Think about how many thousands of players that there are out there that played for a year and a half, 2 years. You blow out your knee and you don't have a roster spot anymore. If you don't make those connections like you're talking about and have, I think about a guy like George Reister, who played tight end here at the U of O, and then he had a middling NFL career. Played for the Jaguars for a long time, but now he works for CBS Sports Radio. He's got a podcast. He's doing stuff like that. If that dude hadn't have at least concentrated a little bit on his way through U of O, there's no way they're giving him that job on CBS Sports Radio. It's a nationally syndicated show. And it's awesome because I love listening to him. I think he's one of the most level-headed broadcasters out there. I love the fact that he even says it on his podcast promo. He says this ain't the place for social justice warriors or snowflakes. He's like, everybody is here. Everybody's got a seat at the table. And I just, I think that's probably a shining example of what you're saying. Like, the dude went through college, he got those connections, and when pro football ran out for him, he was able to go right into like a prestigious broadcasting career, I think the other thing is too, I don't know, I wasn't a good athlete at all. I mean, look, I'm 5'9" and doughy, 5'8", I guess. I already said 5'8", so I can't go adding inches with this in Catholic school.
Yep.
But, I lost my train of thought. But I just, if I would have been an athlete that was good enough to even be recruited, I feel like I would have had this whole thing like, man, if I fuck this up, I'm going to have to move home, and my dad's going to kill me if I screw up this opportunity, or my mom's never going to look at me the same if I screw up this opportunity. And, in the name of fun, I had it easy in college, though, because I got to come and I started a band, and we just drank all the time, and it's like school was second fiddle. These athletes, they have to keep up on school. They have to work really fucking hard to get to where they're at, so it's even a little more surprising when you see one stupid decision and it affects your whole thing.
You almost there.
Yeah.
Almost there. That's what you got to do. Go to school and play whatever your sport is. Go to school, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got so much other stuff. Like, and plus, they treat athletes good around, like royalty, you know what I'm saying, that I've seen. So I'm like, well, you really don't want for that much. You know what I'm saying? I know they was talking about NCAA and money, which I do believe you should get paid or whatever.
Absolutely. For their image. That's.
But I'm like, but how much money you need that you're going to go steal computers and this and that and other allegations you get caught up with when they got the females and things like that, where I'm just like, I think it's a better and safer way. I mean, it can happen to any of us. So I'm not saying like, oh, you're in fault, but it's just like, you just got to know in certain situations that you're held to a higher standard. Yeah. And if not even, you're held to a higher standard just as a person, but you're watched more than the regular person.
Right. All eyes are on you.
So when you got more clout than the other person, so nobody would care about me, whatever, you know what I'm saying, this and that, but you, high profile, supposed to be in this sport, good, you whatever, it gives somebody to talk about. So you just got to watch when you in the higher space of
that world. I mean, that world, yeah. I mean, if you think about it, picture 2 register guard headlines, okay? One of them, starting quarterback steals laptop computer, and then think of like drummer for local punk band kicks a hole in the wall. Like, I got to make stupid decisions, and they didn't affect me because I wasn't shit. That's the point.
It's Marcus again. We told him don't give him the Jose Cueto.
This kid comes in here with 2 Big Bears taped to his hands. He doesn't even have thumbs, and he causes problems. What? But you're right. It's got to be a lot for an 18-year-old kid to handle. Look, I'm not saying you give me that type of clout and that type of recognition at 18 years old, and I guarantee you I would have screwed it up twice as bad as a lot of these guys. I'm not saying it ain't hard. I get it, and especially not when you get out of high school. That high school to college jump culturally for a kid is like, I graduated with 44 kids, Chris. 44 kids in my entire class. And then I went to a university with 20,000 people at it. I didn't know how to act. Like, I would have known better if you would have set a hay bale in the middle of the street and I could go sit on it. I would have been more comfortable there than at the University of Oregon because it is such a shock for me. So I don't claim to think that I could do any better than these guys.
But the thing about it, though, is that you got to understand that we already been, because I was an athlete at supposed to win here, but I messed that up all because Lane doesn't got a football team, and something about independent form. I could have signed that Lane that they didn't tell me. Ugh. It's an independent form you can sign if you have nothing to do with your parents and you're over a certain age, 18 or whatever. You can file to be an independent if you're trying to go to school or if you're just trying to go to Lane. Period. But you don't need your parents' information and stuff. I wish I would have had that. Okay. But anyway, what was I saying? We're designed. Because even when from high school, you can't get in trouble. You can't be suspended. Your GPA got to be this high for you to be able to play. Mm-hmm. So these are things that's nothing new from a kid. No matter what his clout is and whatever it is when going to school, these are I mean, some people get away with most because if you're a superstar, they might let you get away with, you know what I'm saying, whatever. But it ain't like nobody tell you. So these kids do go in here knowing that, when you get in front of a camera, like when you get in trouble and go to the judge, to sit there and yes sir and
right.
No ma'am, and you know what I'm saying, whatever. So having to tell you don't do this or do that, it's kind of whatever. And I'm for the athlete, but I'm just saying, like, some of this stuff is like, you work so hard, you try to get to this part, and you're not thinking. And when you just know the norms, go to school, get your education, do your thing,
and ball out. Yeah, and listen. Now, what's cool about it? This name, image, likeness stuff. Like, these kids are going to be millionaires before they hit 19 years old. A lot of them. Some of these kids are already signing deals out of high school because they're expected to be something big. Yeah. And look, that expectation carries a lot of weight. Like, you got to watch your mental health too, especially as a young kid. When stuff happens to you in that age group, it often seems like it has a bigger impact, like it's lasting longer. It's going to be something that affects you forever. I'm sitting here at 36 years old looking back at a lot of the shit that I sweated about in college going, it wouldn't have made a difference at all. It didn't affect a single thing about anything in my life. It's really hard to step back and have that knowledge when you haven't lived it yet.
And that's the one thing. That's the biggest thing. When my mama used to tell me, my dad said to say, hey, I'm telling you because I've been through it.
Yep.
I've been through it. I'm letting you know. It was something about it that I couldn't listen to them about it. It had to be a superstar on TV or my favorite cartoon character or a friend outside to say something. But now I'm sitting here looking back, them, and like, if I knew and that's what they say, if I knew then what I know now, it'll be a whole different thing. Yep. And I'm telling my kids the same thing.
And goddamn sure if they aren't going to go fuck it up too, right?
I'm not trying to be hard on you. No. I'm fun dad, not dick dad. No, your mom's dad. Your mom does that. Me fun dad, but don't do that. You're going to mess yourself up. And they look like I'm just Captain Killjoy. And
you got to look at it in a way that's like, you got to be strategic about these things. It doesn't mean you can't go to college and still party and have fun. You just need to have like Chris Carter said it best at the NFL Rookie Symposium years ago, where he went up on stage and he looked at all these young NFL rookies that are just starting out and they're about to be more popular and more successful than they've ever been in their entire life. And he looks at all of them and he goes, have a fall guy. Have somebody to point the finger at when some stupid shit goes down and you can't handle seeing your name in the paper attached to that. If it's just a dude that you were out with that night and you blame him for it, problem solved. And it's like a lot of people gave him shit for that, but I was like, no, that actually makes sense when you're talking about everything that these guys stand to lose for just one bad decision. Mm-hmm. Because I don't stand to lose that much from one bad decision. Like I said.
Well, imagine this top podcasts in the world or whatever, and you come in here, we do an interview, bam, we chilling. You're like, hey man, let's go to get something to eat. We go whatever to get something to eat, and we getting into it. Dude step in my shoes, boom, I hit him, pow, 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 knock him out. We can leave because it's a competition. The headlines is not going to be unknown Chris Green, whatever. It's going to be Marcus just two pieces of shit up.
This little not scary white guy just apparently dotted two dudes' eyes.
Just dotted them, whatever, and then have a picture of you like this and me like this.
Maybe we should go out for dinner, man. I feel like you and I we're not capitalizing on our time as much. If that's how we could go out and have a good time and make the paper, this podcast might actually go somewhere.
Hey, you just bring the camera. I'll sit there and wrestle homeless guys.
Oh man, have you had any experiences with the homeless or houseless population in Eugene?
I used to be homeless when I first got down here for a few months. Like
no
4 or 5
shit.
months. When I was like 18, 19, that's what I was talking about. I put myself in school, had a shower right there, go to a place called Looking Glasses, which is a good place to help you get your stuff together and whatever. So I was going to school there, going to school at Lane, showering there, and trying to wait for my financial aid to come through and get through, and they kept on hitting me with the I need your parents stuff and whatever. And I'm like, I have been with my parents for ever since I was 15 years old, 56 years old. I don't got nothing to do with them. I don't know whatever. So it's a thing they could have told me from the get-go called independent form that
just sign it and you're good to go.
You're good to go, whatever. But for as the homeless, that was excuse me, that's what my heart goes out to. I see them and I always just felt a certain way or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And the thing with Eugene and how I'm saying it, it's bad and whatever, but excuse me.
It's that oceanic pale ale. That beer brewed with salt water makes you burp more.
And I know stereotypes, but the chicken would have helped it go down. But we'll talk about that later. But yeah, but it breaks my heart to see it. And then I'm saying that they making money off of it. So it's like, do you really care? It's whatever. And you just see people how they treat them and whatever. And I'm just like, oh, okay, I get it. It's like you see them as a whole, but you got to look at them as individuals. And
right.
I think that's one of the biggest things in the world, not even just homeless people. Don't look at them as a whole. Look at them as individuals because you'll see that they're all different. It's not the same. You know what I'm saying? Whatever as a people. So I hope they figure something now, a program, because if I had $1 billion, I will build some kind of office where, first of all, I put them in a boot camp, make sure that they know karate. Who will mess with a army of homeless people that know karate, jiu-jitsu, and taekwondo? But that at this time, they won't be homeless because they will be in my building. And my building is 4 different tiers.
Just like Mortal Kombat? I feel like you're starting Mortal Kombat right now.
And there's only sacrifices every 2 years. So somebody's got to die. But whoever wins that tournament is the Grand Comundo.
And then do they run the building? You gotta give them something for winning the tournament, right? Do they get a house?
They gotta meet my friend, and what he does, he's on Craigslist. He'll make you pose as an Incredible Hulk, and he's gonna get. Okay, well we've already been through that, but
the Wolverine, the closet goal.
That's when you initiate.
Yeah, okay. No, man, it's going back in all seriousness, all jokes aside, and to what you're saying, they spend a lot of money trying to solve this problem and it feels like a lot of the times the money is being misappropriated, or it must be going into somebody's pockets that's just taking it and not using it for what they should. It's crazy here in Eugene. We actually have like kind of a program that's renowned across the country for dealing with a lot of the mental illness parts of crime that occurs, and that's cahoots. Where they'll send cahoots out or they'll send cahoots out with a uniformed officer, and they'll make the distinction between the two of them. This person is having a mental episode and they need help, or this person is committing a crime and knows full well what they're doing. Wow. And I think that there's something to be learned there, man, because how many people would just go to jail and go right back out and repeat the cycle if you didn't have those cahoots people in there? They're trained professionals. They're not just, look, I know some cops, and I'm not saying they're bad people. I'm telling you right now, I don't know if I'd trust them watching my kids, because I don't know if they necessarily know the sharp end of the the lawnmower blade. But look, that doesn't mean they're good people, but they should be dealing with like a mental health crisis in the middle of downtown.
Shout out to the cops. So there are great cops out there, and they get bad names from the bad apples out there. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But shout out to them. Whatever. It's a lot of misinformed officers out there or whatever, and but we ain't gonna get into that. No. But it's like, I just want to let people know that it's not F the police, it's F those police, and we know who we're talking about and whatever.
And if you've had personal dealings with them, immediately. You get a real different feeling when you're dealing with the F those police than you deal when you're dealing with the guy that's out there to protect and serve, do his job, whatever the case may be.
He's going to be a dick to anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's going to be, you can tell the ones that he's going to be a dick regardless of what your race is, what you are, whatever. He's just doing his thing and he's going about it. And then you get the ones that's super nice and they're trying to work with you, whatever.
Yep.
It's just got the ones that just puts that little extra kale on it.
And just a little extra kale. And when you rewind from the dick cop, from that moment that he's being a dick to you, and you rewind all the way back to when he was 13 years old, and he's just taking dodgeball after dodgeball to the face, it's like you don't sympathize with him, but you understand. Just get out of the way. Just get out of the way once. Just try to dodge it.
Catch it, Wilbert. Catch it, Wilbert.
Oh, shit, man.
I am.
Yeah, did you deal with bullies and shit like that in school at all?
No. Look, I'll be honest. It sounds arrogant. I used to be whatever. I used to kick ass.
You were an athlete, so you were.
I used to give the business. You know what I'm saying? That's my family. But the thing about it, I was always the one that it was like it irked me. So I hated people that like went out their way. Like I can have some of my friends that's me, more like me, whatever, this and that. But if I seen somebody picking on somebody that, first of all, why would you pick on them? Because they're so nice, or they minding their own business, or they just seem helpless, that helpless thing. I used to get in fights with my homeboys, like, you got to fight me, or I go after the other kid and be like, whatever, and, you know what I'm saying, whatever, like, fight them. I always stood up for the little people, whatever. Yeah. And they used to come through there and be like, hey, it's cool, whatever. And we become friends. They were like, oh, I want to come sit by you. Over. Like, oh, yeah, well, all right, hold on.
I didn't say that.
I was like, for today, you can sit with me, but I'm going to have to fight all the time because these dudes are going to mess with you, whatever. But they knew, but for the most part, they knew you had to leave them alone because that's it. Like, it gives me it turns my feeling up when I see that. Like, I see people bullying people, wearing like, hey, why don't you go fight somebody? You know what I'm saying? You're the same size.
Punch up.
Yeah,
punch up.
like try to compete. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Whatever. But don't sit there and try to punt kids, whatever. So I never liked that, and I used to get in trouble for that in school all the time.
For knocking a few heads around because they're picking on people.
But the teachers is something a lot of times or whatever. I mean, of course I got spent it a lot of times, but a lot of times I didn't just because they was like, okay, we see
what's going on.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and dude, I see that, like, that's probably one of the qualities you have that makes you a good father is, like, you see somebody that's vulnerable and might not be, and so you're there to support and there to nurture and there to protect, and all that stuff. And that's kind of my thing with, like, man, there's something about people that abuse dogs that makes me want to come, like, the Incredible Hulk with the Wolverine claw up his ass unglued, okay? I'm not kidding you. I just, because it's like, when you see it in a human, it's bad enough, and that person can actually speak up and say their piece and tell you how they feel. When I see somebody doing it to an animal, like my sister just adopted this dog that used to be a farm dog, and males, it doesn't matter how big, how small, what color you are, it doesn't matter. This dog, if she sees a male, cowers and bares her teeth because the cowboy beat the shit out of her so much. And my sister, she loves my sister, she loves the children, my nephews. But if it's a grown male, this dog just curls up in a corner and will wet herself. I mean, and it's like, dude, I mean, I know the guy that owned this dog before my sister adopted it, and I used to think really highly of him, and now I don't care if I ever fucking speak to him again because I can't believe that you would do that to something so defenseless, you know? Yeah. I mean, it just says something about you. It's like, I'd like to take you back to Enterprise, my hometown, little podunk, Northeast Oregon-ass town, and knock some fucking sense into this dude because he's bigger than me, so I can't do it, you know?
You never know. You hit somebody in the right spot, hey, it's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? They go down.
Well, dude, I only ever asked for an hour of your time, and believe it or not, we've been in here for over an hour.
Oh, that's crazy.
I mean, did you have fun? What do you think of the Man Room podcast now that you've done an episode?
Man, I always thought you was chill. Anyway, I love the setup. I love that you're a man of the people. You feel me? So we could have came in and talked about anything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you catered it to me. I'm not no scientifical, philosophizing, astronomical, diabolical, whatever. So you could dumb it down to me for me and talk about dumb shit that I like. I would love to talk about. You know what I'm saying? But I can just see that you got it, and you doing no different than when you was with the K-Duck or whatever.
K-Fly. Don't do that to me.
K-Fly, my fault. K-Fly, which I swear I was like, oh yeah, y'all went to the top because y'all was already up there with whatever. So I was like, whatever happened, I thought you went with
Tanner and Drew. Yeah. I mean, that was the plan. They actually, so the day that we accepted keys to this house, my wife and I, is the day that they fired us. Like, I was like, I remember my parents were driving across the state to help us move in. And I was like, I called them at like 2:00, which is right when the show's supposed to start. And they answer the phone like, what are you calling us for? Aren't you supposed to be on the air? It's like, no, I'm unemployed. Come move me into my new house. And there's just like dead silence on the other end of the phone. And it's like, and then I had to come home and tell my wife too, which was like, that was the toughest part for sure. But yeah, it was, I mean, we got real blindsided by it. And had that not have happened, things might have worked out different. I might have been able to go with them. I do the Donkey Show podcast with them every day. And a lot of people don't even know that that's a thing, but it's on the iHeartRadio or iHeartMedia app. And it's a daily, like, half an hour to 45-minute podcast where it's called Tanner and Drew's Donkey Show.
Oh, okay.
And there's between 3 and 5 of those per week every week, unless they're on vacation. And I join them from right here. So.
Oh, okay. You got to give me a link or something.
Yeah.
So I'll check it out because I'm definitely trying to promote everything, whatever, you know what I'm saying, I can because you're a solid dude.
Hey, thanks, man.
Y'all always been cool and show me love.
Dude.
Let me know when you need a co-radio personality. I'll do my homework and I'll rock with you.
Hell yeah.
We get back in that building or whatever we need to do. You feel me? Let me know.
Hell yeah, man. And I mean, I really do think you're onto something with this Yo Mama thing. I think maybe you and I need to like moderate a Yo Mama tournament between some of these really, and not to say that you want to compete, go compete. I think that it would be cool to moderate it and kind of roast people from being like a host standpoint because that's kind of my game, you know?
I'm with you all day. As long as we can just bring it in, bring people that, hey, you never knew you had it in you. That's what I be loving to see comedians, and they so self-conscious. I'm like, man, just go out there because the one thing I tell comedians or start off comedians, it's just 40% or even more just to have the kahunas to get on stage and look at a crowd.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if you could do that, you halfway there.
Yeah, for sure. And before I forget, I do want to plug Monday, September 6th, Ghostlight Playhouse. If you want to catch Chris, go down to Medford, get tickets through Ghostlight Playhouse's website, and enjoy some of the great food that Chef Nick's cooking up down there. Enjoy the great comedy that they're going to have. Always a good show. I've never seen a bad lineup on any of those shows.
Oh, okay.
I've done 2 of them, actually, now. So it's a great stage. You're going to have a lot of fun. You also said you're working on some stuff, some like TV stuff right before we went on. Is there anything that you can actually talk about, or is it all still kind of in production?
I'm working it's still in production, but we got show that we're gonna put together, a TV show that you either get it on YouTube, Facebook, or on the local channel that we're looking for Eugene, and it's called Feather Bottom and Skull.
Feather Bottom and Skull.
With me and my man Shannon Swords. That's gonna be coming out. That's crazy. Naughty and Nice, a Christmas story. It's supposed to be coming out pretty soon, around Christmas. By Travis Ivy and Brenda Ivy, and this Peacoat Films. I'm trying to figure if anything.
There's a clip on your Facebook page, just a little tiny clip of Naughty and Nice Christmas that's really funny for only being 8 seconds long and having zero context. I watched it like 4 times and laughed every single time. So if you want to check out just a tiny taste of that, you can check that out on Chris's Facebook page.
With all my other craziness.
Yeah.
If you want that crazy, I'm about that crazy life. So, and I accept all friends. That's about it. And now I'm just trying to get this comedy thing going. That's why I'm asking my brothers and them, whatever, because I'm known as the flake, other known as the black sheep, on top of other things. But I'll let them know I'm there. If they get me there, I'm there. You know what I'm saying? And whatever time I can get myself there.
Sure.
You know, so,
all right, well, how about this? When that stuff does hit, make sure to let me know, and when it's launched, and we'll get you back on the podcast and make sure we tell people about it, because that's another thing I want to use this podcast for, is to elevate this whole scene that we've got going on. There are so many creative and funny and really talented people in Eugene right now working on a lot of cool shit. I just feel fortunate to be a part of it, to be honest with you. So I want to help in any way that I can, and you're the first guy. I mean, I've had filmmakers. I had the creator of The Last Blockbuster in here, but I haven't actually had anybody that's been on the talent side of the camera, the acting side of the camera. So you're the first one, dude. I mean, and I look forward to having you back after we can check out some of this stuff. So
all right, I'm all for it. And make sure you look for me. It's called Wolverine's Revenge. You'll see a picture of me in a green suit with my ass out and a claw. No, it ain't no such thing like that. Please don't sue me.
You can find it. You just got to pay him for it. It's on OnlyFans. Chris Green, everybody. That's the Man Room Podcast. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening. And transmission.